Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld. And recently, I've been going through some of my video history, and I noticed that my manga collection video is almost 2 years old, with it officially being 2 years, is being January 21st, 2026. And considering some of the manga hauls I had down the year and something I'm very excited to showcase to you all, I think it's time that we do another manga collection video. And with the prelude out of the way, it's time we get into the actual collection. And as we can start off with, well, peak basically. And that, of course, is I've managed to get a couple of 100 girlfriends, friends that really love View series. As you can see, it's not every single one. I'm definitely missing some of the earlier half, and that's mostly because for some reason the store that I buy most of my manga from has this like weird thing where it doesn't, like, I don't want to say it doesn't update 100 girlfriends, or it doesn't like keep it in stock 100 girlfriends. It's like a thing where we have a weird early volume, but the rest are just mostly the newest ones. So the reason why 11 to 15 is straight is because these are just the only ones that aren't in the stocks for the most point. Well, these ones are just kind of random. And when I say random, I mean like super random. Like during volumes, I believe it was when they had volumes 8, 9, 10, 11 be the most recent ones. They had like volume 3 and 2, but not volumes 1 and 4. And then I also believe recently they only had volume 6 in stock as the oldest, but no 7, 8, or 10. And even the last two, 14 and 15, all kind of came, and 16 for that matter, all came out around the same time. Like, literally, I believe they came out at November. These two, and right before Christmas time, or at the very least, the final few weeks before Christmas, is when they got volume 16, which is the reason why 16 is not here, because if I spotted that or knew that they were going to get 16, I assumed they weren't going to get it until next year. I would have had 16, but unfortunately I can't. Unfortunately, I spotted too late, so I do not have volume 16 as of yet. But anyways, at least 100 Girlfriends has volumes in the store, because Gosh Our Magical Girls, despite having, I believe, like, I want to say it's halfway through the volumes that are released in Japanese, but I'm pretty sure they have at least the first 4 volumes out, or if not at least 3, but unfortunately I only have volume 1 since it's on those series that's not in my regular bookshop, so I have to go through Amazon to get it. So yeah, it's a bit of a limitation how I can get this series, but and the same goes for Incarnate Colosseum, although I believe Incarnate Colosseum doesn't have volume 3 yet, although I might be wrong about it. But regardless, these are some of my favorite series out there, and I'm planning on getting all of them. The same goes for Overlord light novels, but so far I only have these 3, since I have, these guys are a lot more expensive than these guys, and these guys are already expensive as all hell. Like, I believe this one is like $18, while these two are both like $15. These two series are both $15, while this one's like $22 or something like that. So yeah, that's the situation with my top series, and we'll get into My Academia later. So next we go to some of the more I like the villains in them series, with Akama Ga Kill Volume 4 and 5 being the first 2, since I love Kurumi and Asdef as villainesses, besides that appeal, but you get what I mean. They are great. This is a fun series to have, although it's one of those series that you can tell suffers a lot from the time it came out, and especially with the whole killing. Which I do find kind of funny that Akamaga Kill is, I believe, like a series that's well known for its overkilling, or that being one of the biggest criticism, where where the author got way too happy when it came to killing off characters. Yet in modern time, that's another problem that a lot of series, or at least the most popular series, have, where they kill off characters way too freely nilly, and it just, all the consequences that when it comes to killing off characters happens. So it's kind of funny how Akamaga Kill, the series that's most known for it, came out so early, because I believe it was like, I mean, I know this, like, I don't want to say this series is like super old, but I'm pretty sure this series is like early 2000s, maybe a little bit before 2010s. Because I'm pretty sure this series, because this series is not exactly a new gen series like Black Clover here is. Probably, I think, about the same time period as Bleach, although again, I might be wrong about this. I can't exactly remember which date Akamaga Kill got, especially since the anime was a lot closer to the manga than most series do have it be, but whatever. Anyways, after Akamaga Kill, we get to Black Clover, which I don't believe I have updated anything from that video, since, let's be honest to ourselves, the villains really fell off during the Spade War arc, and my interest on getting this volumes just didn't exactly get peaked much. But whatever, I did get a few. I do think I may have a few, but what can you do? I will probably get the last couple of villains in the series, but nothing more. Then we get to Bleach. That I think got a bit of an increase. We have it from volume 22 to 22, 23, 24, 29, and then a couple of volumes from the Thousand Year Blood War arc, 62, 65, 68, and 71. There was a few updates, but nothing extreme. I'm definitely just planning on getting the Stern Ritter and the Aranka and the, what they're called, I can't remember, what's those guys in the Lost Shinigami, not Lost Shinigami, not, what, I can't remember what they're called, the guys that are between the Aranka arc and the Thousand Year Blood War arc, but those are basically the only ones I plan on getting for Bleach, and yeah. Anyways, after Bleach, we didn't get Burn the Witch, which hasn't had any updates since Burn the Witch Volume 1 came out. I'm not entirely certain what Kubo is planning with that series, so there's gonna be any updates, and alright, I understand that Kubo doesn't want to get into making another weekly series because of the effects they had, making Bleach had on him and everything, and let's be real to ourselves, everything we hear from new gen writers, we can tell that things are not gonna improve if Kubo decide to go back into making a weekly series. But is there like any news at all about what he's planning on doing with the Burn the Witch series story and Bleach Helllock? It feels like we haven't had any updates on those things at all. Like, I mean, like, at least is there any updates at least mentioned, like, oh, there's a bit of a discussion about making a new artist or something, so he doesn't have to focus on the art? I don't really know, it just feels weird that we haven't had, like, any real updates on it. Maybe I missed them, but I feel like I would have probably heard some if there were. But yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing from that. Then we have one of the series I got in recent Manga Haul, which is Chain Soldier, which is the same author as Akamaga Kill. And again, I'm only planning on collecting the villain covers, so the Thunder God covers are the only ones I'm planning on getting, and Kusatsu is not the only one that's out, but Shinoko, I believe Shinoko is also the next cover that has Shinoko on it. I haven't got, but Kusatsu is the first one that I got. So yeah, which is also where I believe the finale of the season 2 is gonna be taking place, and also that's where and I also believe season 2 is coming out relatively soon. But yeah. Anyways, there we have Chain Soldier. I got a few updates with volumes 5, 6, I believe. I don't think I had those two. Well, I had 8 and 10, but whatever. I really got Volume 6 mostly because of the Reze movie, and I wanted to do a video discussion on her, so yeah, I looked forward to that video, but yeah. Then we have Combatants Will Be Dispatched, no updates. Demon Slayer Volume 6, I just got it because I can't like Shinoku's design. Then we have Eden Zero, that I don't think I had, there's any updates here, but there might have been. As you might have noticed, is that some of these series I got in German because they are cheaper to get on Amazon if they're in German, so yeah. Now, so that's the reason why there's a bit of a difference in size with these two series and Fairy Tail 58. That isn't really big of an issue since I understand what's going on, and if there's any kind of like dialogue there I need to really double check, I can just go online to read in English, but yeah. There are Fairy Tail that has Fairy Tail and Fairy Tail 100 Quest didn't really get much updates since I believe that previous video, since I think I had all of them, and maybe I added this one, but for the most part there has been no updates since, well, there wasn't really a reason, it's just I wanted to finish some other series and wanted to focus on my favorite series of all time to than Fairy Tail, because, I mean, do I have to explain why I would prefer focus on some other series than Fairy Tail? I mean, just look at what's the score that's happening right now in the manga community, in the manga community. I think it's pretty obvious why. Here's also volume 7 for 100 squares, since there wasn't room, but yeah. Anyways, then we have Fire Force 16, 18, and 21. I didn't get any updates on it since the villains there didn't really interest me the most, but even though they are fun, though, it is kind of, I'm still a bit ashamed that I don't have Charon cover yet, since I believe he has like, what, 2, maybe 3 covers? I think he at least has 2, but I can't say for certain. Anyways, then we have 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, 169. I'm planning on getting some of the 4 Evil covers, but that's about it. Then we have 3 and Journey Beyond Journey's End. I'm probably gonna be updating the series soon, with at least a few demons that are coming up later, but so far I didn't. They have Full Metal Alchemist, Volume 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Also, just to be clear, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I do count volumes, these tankobon covers as separate volumes. Like, this is one volume, but to me it's 3 because that's 3 in 1. So yeah, just so to be clear on the number that's gonna be on the video, since I believe I have around 182. So, and I also don't count light novels, but yeah. So that's the thing with Fullmetal Alchemist. I believe there's a cover with Pride, Bradley, and Greed on it. 2 covers, I believe, between those 3 characters, but I have to wait to get them. Since again, I'm not in the biggest hurry. Then we have the I will say Bottom T. Burkett for 150 years, and the Demon King Made Me a Minister. One of the biggest examples of Jesus Christ, these isekai series have way too long of titles. And this isn't even like a traditional isekai series. This is a side story about one of the characters in the series. And Jesus Christ, did she get a long goddamn name? I mean, how do you even get I feel like these long titles should probably be able to have come up with shorter titles while they were writing at some point. Like maybe I'm a demon minister, but wouldn't just a bottom tier demon to a minister be good enough and long enough as well? But yeah, for some reason no. So we instead got this very long ass title. Anyways, then we get to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Volume 4 and 7. And as much as I would like to collect more of JoJo's volumes, especially since the books do look very nice, unfortunately the series doesn't really have many villains on their cover, so I'm not gonna be planning on getting them, especially since they are, pretty expensive books, all things considered. So there's not gonna be many updates. Like, seriously, I think after Part 5, one volume when you see the Avalo's Lake, I don't believe there's a single cover in Part 6 all part 7, since I believe part 7 does have all of this already out in Japanese, just to be clear, Japanese, not English, has a single cover where any of the villains appear in it. So it's just so unfortunately I have to not include, so unfortunately I'm not going to be getting many JoJo's despite, but having amazing covers because again I want to collect the villains. Then we have Joker, one upper Persian Joker. It's a DC manga series based on Joker just doing some, like, I guess a slice of life comedy series with references to comics and movies and other such stuff in which Joker raises Batman. I read volume 1 and I believe the series is complete with 3 volumes, since these DC Marvel comic stories don't really last very long or even that good for that matter, but whatever. It was a fine, interesting little read. Although it does kind of suffer from a lot of this modern comic book thing where it's like, this guy commits acts of terrorism or commits crimes that would put him in the ranks of the worst people in the human history. Why the heck is he allowed to be in this center with people discussing how to take care of children or where to put children during work hours? But yeah. Anyways, then we have Jujutsu Kaisen, volume 17 and 15, with, again, volumes with villains, so they were fun reads and all, and I like what they've been doing, especially this artwork with Makito, and yeah, they were pretty fun to read. Then we have Kumi Can't Communicate. Unsurprisingly, I haven't updated the series since it's just a slice of life story about a girl who wants to make 100 friends and all, and yeah. And it's another example of a series that had like a lot of popularity before the anime came out, but then kind of just dropped in popularity. Like, I don't even say that people talk shit about it, like, let's say My Academia. It's just, it's a series that, like, everyone was hyping it up before it happened, and now it's just kind of there. Maybe a few people have a whole collection of it, but anything else is just like, nah. Anyways, after that, we then have Goku Loser Ranger, which I don't think was updated since the last video. I mean, it's not a bad series. It's just like, I don't know, it just didn't stick with me as much as I was expecting it to at the very beginning. But I'll probably get a couple of volumes with the villains later, like probably Yellow Keeper I'm getting, in the Bunny Executive, and there's definitely volumes I'm planning on getting for it. They have Miracle-chan, which has the support they dropped down from the series I wanna fully collect. I don't know, maybe it's because series like Miracle-chan have such irregular releases to a point that it's not even like a monthly thing. The series could go for like at least 1 or 2 months before it gets a new chapter, so it's kind of hard to keep up with it in any other kind of format until you like notice, oh, a new volume's out. And but the story itself is interesting. I like the characters in it, but it's just not as much of a sticker as I was expecting it 2 years ago to be. Anyways, there are Monster Musume volume 6 and 7 with my 2 favorite gals. My favorite waifus, and yeah, it's just Monster Musume. What more can I say? It's like, honestly, this is again another series that's just like, as such, I understand that the author doesn't have, that it's hard to keep releasing chapters regularly, but it's just so hard to keep up with these series that have such irregular releases. Especially since other series, have even other series that have longer release dates, like Gosho Magical Girl and Winkai Colosseum, that are monthly series. At least you understand every month, check it. There might be a break in between, but mostly you can check every month on the new chapter and everything. But these 2 series are just too irregular to really follow through. There we have Naruto volumes 41 and 54. I'll get couple more volumes with villains on them later, but yeah. The same goes for One Piece. We have 47, 54, 74, 77, 83, 87, 89, 91. And then down here we have volumes 8, 92, 93, 94, 97, 102. With a few more villain covers to get. Again, so yeah. Then we get to, besides One Piece, we then get to One Punch Man, which is one of those series I'm kind of surprised doesn't have more villains on the cover, since, you kind of think a superhero series would have a bit more on the cover, especially since, like, the weird thing is the main hero is not that much in the story, and they usually have very long fights and stuff with the monsters or the villains and everything, so it's kind of weird that there isn't more villain covers, but unfortunately, I wouldn't be getting many more of this series, since I believe I got most of the ones that have the villains. Just maybe like, I guess volume 3 with Sonic would still be counted, and I believe recently there was a volume that had Overgrown Nova and Black Ass on them, and the ones before that were just a bunch of like Garo covers, which I don't mind Garo on the cover. It's just that he already has 2 volume covers, and now I believe he has like 3 volumes in a row that's just Cosmic Garo. Like, I get it, Garo's like one of the most popular character and fan favorite, but Jesus Christ, can we not Garo does not need the 3 covers in a row where it's just him. But yeah. Anyways, after One Punch Man, we get to Overlord volumes 1, 3, 4, 7. I also been planning on making a Clementine video, but I don't think I've ended up making it, so I'll have to go back on that one. So, yeah, Clementine, Kurumi, and Reze are the 3 next videos I'm probably going to be doing next after this Manga collection video. Then we get to not a manga even, or a light novel. It's just a Pokemon encyclopedia, basically, which goes through Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 7 is Sword and Shield? I want to say it's, it's Gen 8. Gen 5 is Black and White, Gen 6 is X and Y, Gen 7 is Sun Moon, Gen 8 is Sword and Shield. Yeah, so up to Gen 8, it's just a fun little read to go through some of the Pokédex entries for the Pokemon. It's really nothing else special. Then we get to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I don't want to call it a side manga, since this is basically going through the journey of Diamond and Pearl, but from a more comical lens in the main adventure series. But yeah, it was just a fun little read, nothing special, nothing to lose your mind about, but it was a more friendly read and more for children. Then we have Pokemon Adventures X and Y Story, Volume 6, which is another one from the haul I recently got, because Lysander takes the farming pose, like, literally, like, the shot itself is very small, like, it's a very small part of the volume, but Jesus Christ, is Lysander farming in this volume. Although I gotta ask, with how Pokemon ZA game went with the story and what happened with Team Flare, I do have to wonder how they're gonna handle the ZA in the manga. Like, I mean, okay, the Pokemon anime itself, while it's going its own direction and everything, it's not like there's a guarantee that Lysander is actually gonna appear in Pokemon Horizons. I do find a bit, I kind of can still see Lysander ending up the way he does in the game, in the anime, because it was just engulfed in bright light in a different manner. It was more of an attack, but you could still have him end up the same way, you know? Like, I don't think it's that difficult to find a way to have him be like that. But in the manga, he just ends up basically being captured and arrested, with probably being put in a hospital because his spine got broken. So how do you go from that to him ending up the way he does in ZA? I guess maybe you could say that, oh, it doesn't matter because I don't believe these stories like Pokemon Legend Arceus, for example, get their manga, so it's not like Adventures is gonna focus on that, but I don't know, I just feel like there's probably gonna be some, I don't know, I feel like they probably might be doing something with that since, there's usually some kind of tie-in, like Hard Gold, Soul Silver, and I believe uh, Emerald also got tie-in, so it might be, especially since like, okay, Legends Arceus takes out place in a completely different time period and everything, but Pokemon ZA is just 5 years in the future. You know, like I don't think it's that difficult to really make a new manga. I guess maybe it would be best if they, instead of making a continuation, they make just its own thing, but it feels kind of weird to completely lump over it. But anyways, after Pokemon Adventures like Xander Future discussion, let's go into the next volume of Pokemon, which is Pokemon Sword and Shield, which, I'm gonna be honest, is there a reason why Pokemon gets kind of a short on the stick when it comes to its manga volumes? Because I understand this is meant to be more for children. The Pokemon manga itself is more of a child's read. It's just, and this is the reason why this is the way this book looks like this. So it could be easier for children since, this is kind of a, I guess children cannot read this. But it just feels weird that we are having this, we are having, this be done for this is how we have Pokemon current volumes of Pokemon being in this like weird format, especially since they recently released well, not recently, but they've had tankobon releases for, well, they had a special collection for Pokemon Adventure series. It feels weird that they're putting them that in this kind of format, but then you get to that collection series, which goes in a more similar format to this one. I mean, I guess to be fair, that series, they did, I believe, only plan on going up to the Ruby and Sapphire arcs, and I don't believe there's been any suggestions they're going to be going into the future, so Sword and Shield is definitely going to get if Diamond and Pearl is not getting it, but I don't know, it just kind of feels weird how they're handling the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh manga for that matter. But yeah, anyways, they have Volume 3 of Ragnar Crimson. Another series that has a lot of villain covers to get, but it's also a very expensive series. Then we have Record of Ragnarok, a series that I definitely want to collect more of, especially with the Hades and this on the cover. And just like 100 Girlfriends, like one of those volumes that if I've known they were going to release it before Christmas, I would have ordered it, but I didn't, so I couldn't get it. They have Ruby Volume 3 from the Shadows, nothing new there. Then we get Saturday Sins, Volumes 2, 5, 18, 19, 28. Nothing new there. Then we get to Shy, that I do believe I only had Volume 4 when I made that video, but now I've also get German versions of Volume 13 and 17. Mostly since I believe it's one of those series, for some reason it takes forever to get English releases on new volumes, but these two already came in Germany, so I bought them. Then we have the first 4 volumes of Solido, nothing new there. Then we get Spider-Man Fake Rat, which I think is like probably like one of the top when it comes to like Marvel and DC characters getting manga adaptations, but that's not really a high bar to take over. And now we get to the final shelf on this books. The final part of this bookshelf, which contains that time I got it as a Slime Volume 18 of the light novel. Then we get another interesting set of books with Time Stop Hero Volume 6, 5, and 6. Then we get The Legendary Hero Is That, which is not a German cover like I mostly have, but it's actually a French book since I don't believe this series comes in any other language than Japan, French, and maybe Italy. Like, it's one of those very limited releases. I'm not very surprised by it, but I'm kind of disappointed there's not more of it. In more language releases. Then we get to volumes 1 to 4 for Tokyo Ghoul. And we get no updates on We Never Learned, volume 12. And then we get to Yu-Gi-Oh! The original Duel Master series with volumes 13, 14, 15, 22, 23, and 24, which also I believe has like both have the main villains in the original series, with only I think one more volume. I think volume Taku Frame 1, volume 13. I think with Marek is the one that I'm missing yet. And again, like Pokemon, I got a question: why doesn't I guess Shonen Jump do more with releasing volumes for these series? Like, these are some of the most popular and long-running series out there. That are the icons of anime and childhoods. You'd think there'll be a bit more attention and focus on making the volumes be more accessible and more, more at your display. I mean, maybe it's because my country has it's a very weird way of handling volumes, but it still feels like you would think there would be a bit more of a volume release for these iconics of this series, but whatever, that's all that I have for Yu-Gi-Oh! And now to get to the crown jewel of my collection, my manga collection. And the crown jewel is the complete collection of My Hero Academia. Just look at it. The first 10 volumes. Then we get to all the volumes to 20. Then we get to all the volumes to 31. A few of them are put here on display as since I like the way it looks like. I mean, I'm not a big fan of how these guys look, these things that are holding them look like, since it kind of looks weird, especially since they are bending the book, so I'm not happy about that. But what we do what we can with the limitations we have at our disposal. And then we get to the final volumes of My Hero Academia. With volume 20, now here's a funny little story about this. I was planning on originally getting volume 40. I was originally planning on getting volume 31, 32 at the same time, but then volume 42 did not update until like literally December. So I just decided to have it be ordered by Amazon, and then just ordered 41 with a bunch of other volumes to come earlier, so I have like two different ways of getting it. But then at December, I spotted volume 42 was already coming out, like literal days after I ordered volume 41. So yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest thing, but it's so annoying to deal with. But regardless, it's a story to tell whenever someone asks me about my collection of My Academia. And yeah, this is my complete collection of My Academia and all the manga volumes I have so far. Now, some of you might be asking, in 2 years, how come I didn't get a lot more volumes? Well, let's just say I've also started collecting a lot more expensive series of fiction, and yeah, it kind of put a bit of a delay on which volumes I'm gonna be getting. But regardless, as long as I keep my goal is to villain covers, I don't get distracted with some other series, or at least too many new ones, I think it should be fine. And yeah, anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope you leave a like, subscribe for more videos in the future, and tell me in the comments below also which series was in my collection is your favorite. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.